Welcome to the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Alysia. Greatness is a decision and your birthright. You deserve to love the woman looking back at you in the mirror. This show is for the purpose-driven female entrepreneur who is committed to only counting the time she gets back up. The woman who is ready to ignite the flame within, find her voice, and use the power of her story to transform the lives of those around her. This is your weekly fuel to inspire you to action, where I'll be sharing inspirational stories, real talks with thought leaders and successful entrepreneurs from around the world, and provide you with actionable success strategies for creating a business you love. I'm a content marketing coach, and I'm committed to helping you as an online creator and entrepreneur wherever you are to turn your dreams into a reality, to help you transform your messaging so you can create a genuine connection with your audience and grow your income online. You are far more powerful and stronger than you will ever imagine. We are the warriors. You were born for this. Let's make life your bitch. Welcome to the very first episode of the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. I am so excited that I get to share this journey with you. Before we get into talking about entrepreneurship, I actually want to share with you how this whole podcast and Make Life Your Bitch came to be. So back in 2018, I was at a Tony Robbins event, and I know I have some Tony Robbins fans out there. It was day 4, and Joseph McClendon III was actually taking us through this process of looking at what we actually went through for the entire weekend and really looking at our own transformation. I'm standing there and I'm standing up and I'm in this auditorium and I have both my hands on my heart. For anyone who has experienced this, I want you to take yourself back there to your own experience. I had both my hands on my heart and I was looking up. And although I was in an auditorium and I was looking up at the lights, I was looking so much further beyond that. Because when I went to that event, I had all these limiting beliefs stacked on top of me that when I looked up, everything felt so heavy. And after that event, it wasn't just that the sky was the limit, it was so much further and beyond that was the limit. There was no limit. I'm looking up and I'm thinking to myself, like, it's time. It is finally time for you to go after your dreams. And up until that point, all of those beliefs and dreams that I always thought I would love to do, I didn't even actually entertain the idea because everyone else was doing it, but how could I? How could I start a podcast? How could I do anything that was outside of my cookie cutter lifestyle? That was for the people who had money and knew people and had all the connections. How could I do that kind of stuff? And for myself, when I went to that event, that changed. And I was looking up and I was looking beyond, and it was in that moment that I made that decision. I was going to be a blogger and I was going to be a life coach. And that is how Make Life Your Bitch started. It started from a blog. I returned home and I was ready to start this blog, and it was going to be about telling my stories and telling everyone about all my life experiences in hopes that I could help other women around the world who had experienced similar things to myself. What ended up happening was I had gotten off the plane full of this excitement and this passion for starting this new life that I had planned out for me, right? And I know I'm not the only person who has ever experienced this. You too have probably had a moment in your life where you got really excited, really motivated. You heard something awesome online. You were all gung-ho to do something. And then life happened and you didn't do it. And that happened to me. So it's been 48 hours since I stepped off the plane and I'm still super motivated, ready to go. And so I went to the gym and I had walked in the doors into the change room and I was just taking my bag off my shoulder and setting it on the bench when my phone rang. And the thing is normally I would never answer the phone at the gym because when I go there, I get super in the zone and in go mode, right? But something told me that this call was different. And so I looked at the phone and it was my mom. And so I answered the phone And on the other end, her voice was shaking. She said, "Brittany, I need you to come get me. Your dad cut his hand at work and I'm shaking too much. I can't drive. Can you take me to the hospital?" I put on my strength cap, and I know you felt this way too, where at some point in your life, you spend so much time being strong for everyone else around you that you either forget to be strong for yourself or don't realize how strong you really are. And for me, when I put on my strength cap, I spent a lot of time being strong for everyone else, and I forgot how strong I was. And so I took her to the hospital, and by trade, I'm an X-ray tech, and I had a card to get through the doors, and I started swiping myself through the doors because nobody was holding me back. And we walked into the emergency room, and to my left, there were trauma bays, and I could hear him screaming. I could hear my dad screaming, and I held my mom, and I don't know if I was holding her back or me back, but in that moment, everything changed. I looked off to my right, and I could see his X-ray on the screen, and his hand was not just cut. Between his wrist and his elbow, his forearm was severed off. There was a bit of soft tissue holding it together, and everything changed. I couldn't walk into the emergency room as an X-ray tech and feel the same anymore because I knew what it meant for every patient there, what the recovery was going to be like for the family once they walked out those doors, and I had no control over it. And that was when I realized that those dreams that I had set for myself back in Chicago in the summer, those 48 hours before, that was when I needed to make sure I made those happen. And that it wasn't just for me, but it was for everybody else out there whose life I wanted to make an impact on. What I realized also that year was that I needed to fill my cup up first, and always fill your cup up and give from the overflow. The truth is, there will never be a good time for you to go after your dreams. And there will never be a good time to have children. But we do it anyway. Because if we don't make the time to have children and just fit it into our life and our busy, crazy lives, time will run out. It's the same thing with your dreams. If you don't go after your dreams and start working towards them now, right now, as soon as you're done listening to this podcast, or right now while you're listening, start making that next step. Start taking that next step towards your dreams, because life will run out. Time is going to run out, but you don't have to end up at the end of your life wishing that you had done all these things that you had always dreamed of. I want to meet you at 80 years old, sitting on our rocking chairs on the porch, and you telling me all about the amazing things that you made happen for yourself, how you made life your bitch. That was how Make Life Your Bitch transformed into not just being about a blog, but about so much more. I looked at my life and I thought to myself, this is not just about me wanting to make life better. This is about wanting to help every woman out there make her dreams a reality. And I realized that because I've been through a lot in my life, and it was that every single experience that I've ever been through would be worth it if I could help one woman. And I made that decision. If I could help one woman, then it would be worth it. And I tell my students and my clients, when you're creating content online and on social media, that you're not doing it for the people who are hitting the like button. You're not doing it for the people who are commenting. You're doing it for the people who are sitting there listening and watching in silence, who are too afraid to click the like button and say me too. Because those people are the ones who need your message the most. Those are some of my best clients, are the people who were too afraid to hit like and messaged me privately and said, how do I pay? How do I work with you so that I can make my dreams a reality? And so when you're out there creating content, it's so much bigger than what you will ever imagine. It's just like what I say in the beginning of the podcast. You are far more powerful and stronger than you will ever imagine. And I never thought that I would be starting a podcast or talking to people from all over the world, super inspirational people. But I had to put myself out there in order to get myself there. The person who actually has taught me how to start my own podcast was a lady by the name of Michelle Soro. And I actually met her on the airplane in March of 2018. So a few months before I made that decision to be a coach and a blogger, she was put in my path to set me up. And the thing is I could have ignored the situation. But what happened was I was sitting on the plane and I was at a Tony Robbins event. That was my very first one. And it was at that event that I learned to love myself. And I'm sitting in my seat, and behind me, I can hear this lady asking this other lady about what she thought of the event. And the one lady was really negative and had all these reasons why she didn't like it. And I turned around and I was like, I want to talk to you about this. And Michelle and I had this conversation for an hour, whatever it was, for our flight. And that is how I created that relationship with her. And 2.5 years later, look where I am now. If I thought 2.5 years ago that I would have thought, oh my goodness, it seems so far away. But when I look back at it now, it seems like it was just yesterday. From my dad's accident, it seems like it was yesterday. But when you're going after your dreams and you're loving every minute of what you do, time flies. Time flies no matter what anyway. So it's just, you have to start. You have to start today. And here's the thing. There's going to be all sorts of online trolls and keyboard warriors out there telling you all the reasons why you shouldn't call your podcast Make Life Your Bitch or your brand. And for every time they give you a reason why not, I want you to give them 10 more reasons why. Because Make Life Your Bitch is all about you being strong as a female entrepreneur and sticking true to your dreams and you going after them no matter what. It doesn't matter what everybody else says. You stay true to your vision. And there's times that I need to put both my hands on the sides of my face and tell myself, stay true to the vision, stay in your lane and just keep going. Because everybody has an opinion, but you need to take what you like and you need to leave the rest, okay? Awesome. Now, if you're multitasking, I need you to come back in and I need you to join me because I have something really exciting to share with you. If you are a female entrepreneur, online creator, or coach, if you are a woman who is an action taker and ready to make her dreams a reality, then this is for you. In the next couple weeks, we are launching a brand new program that is going to turn your idea into a course, and we are going to launch it. I am going to walk alongside you and help you make your dreams a reality. So you are going to go online and email me at podcast@makelifeyourbitch.co, and you are going to tell me that you are ready to take action now, because now is the time to go after your dreams. Not in 5 months, not in a year, not in 10 years from now. Now is the time to start making it happen, because there is never a good time. So you're going to email me at podcast@makelifeyourbitch.co, and we are going to launch your course together. And as a founding member, I am going to give you a special discount because you are a Make Life Your Bitch podcast listener. You are going to be considered a founding member and receive 25% off just for listening to the podcast today. So head on over and email me at podcast@makelifeyourbitch.co and tell me that you're ready to launch your very first or second maybe course. And we are going to get you there and we are going to do it together. I can't wait to see you inside. And I know we've talked a lot about dreams today. I've probably used the word dream about 100 times, but it all starts there and then we take action. It starts with an idea, a thought, and we take action now. If it wasn't for all those little times that somebody told me that you can't do that, stop, don't do that, that's a bad idea, all those little rocks that people threw, it wouldn't have got me where I was today because all of those moments are what made me stronger. All of the trolls, all the keyboard warriors, all the family members who told me, what are you doing? You're crazy. Don't do that. Brittany, why are you posting that kind of stuff online? Who do you think you are? Even those inner thoughts that you're going to have that are going to tell you that you can't do it. That's just your imposter syndrome kicking in because you got this. Remember, greatness is a decision. That is a decision that you have to make, but it's your birthright. It is your birthright to be great. But you have to make the decision to go out there, grasp it, catch it, and make it happen. That's on you. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today and going on this journey with me. I will see you on the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and make life your bitch. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share it with your bestie. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, feedback, or compliments that you want to throw like confetti, you can reach me directly at podcast@makelifeyourbitch.co. Thanks for listening.